Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the North American Star Team League. We have Empire versus Quantic today, and of course I'm joined by my good old friend Khaldor. Khaldor, how you doing, man?
I'm doing really good. How about you, Gretorp? You alright?
I'm great, man. I had a great night's sleep last night. I woke up and I said I get to cast some StarCraft. 2 top teams in the world. How could I be anything but great, man?
Yeah, we have a really nice clan word today. And the players at hand are actually 2 Zerg players. We have NASTL and Destiny on Belshire Beach today.
Yep, let's go ahead and get right into it. It's going to be on, as you said, Belshire Beach. And I'm really looking forward to this because Destiny, you know, he's a pretty big fan favorite, man. I mean, I know his ZVZ isn't stellar.
Come on, let's be honest about it. It's awful. At least when it comes down to statistics. Statistics aren't everything. We all know that. But he had a really tough time in ZVZ. I just looked up some of his recent games in the mirror matches. He lost 2-0 against Red. He lost 2-0 against Vostorge. I don't even know how to pronounce that nickname. And 2-0 to Machine. That's the last 3 ZVZs that he played. So if he wants to break that streak, he has now to face NASTL.
Yeah, and NASTL, let's be honest, is a monster. This guy, he is pretty high variance, but and when I say that, I just mean we've seen him do a lot of different builds. And ZVZ, it tends to be more micro-intensive than anything. There is a high variance to this particular matchup, but as you said, for Destiny to be losing so consistently as of late, it is kind of troubling for me, and hopefully he's able to kick in a high gear. Now, he has been practicing in Korea for a little bit. What has been your experiences with him in Korea?
I actually have to admit that I've never met him. I don't think that he was at the... I haven't seen him at the GOM studio. But just one thing, we have Destiny with a pool on 11 and gas. So a little bit of a difference in strategy. You already mentioned that NASTL is a really solid ZVZ play. He has 60% win ratio, just to get some statistics on NASTL as well. But Destiny, as I mentioned, 11 pool for him, while NASTL was going for a pool, I think it was 14 gas, 14 pool. So more of a standard build. And the one thing that Destiny has now, he has a small advantage when it comes down to his queen. His queen will be out earlier. He is going not only for speed, but also for the Baneling Nest. So Destiny for some very aggressive build, and let's see how NASTL is going to deal with that.
Yeah, and on what... Okay, so Destiny looks like he's actually going to be expanding directly after that. That's the only reason I can actually give for this Spine Crawler. Look at this. He's putting down a Spine Crawler while putting down the Baneling Nest. I'm really uncomfortable with this because I think the Baneling Nest accomplishes, if you are going to be defensive, the Baneling Nest actually accomplishes the same thing as the Spine Crawler. So I'm not sure why exactly he's getting this, but we can see a little bit of pressure on the Spine Crawler. He's going to cancel that. 75 minerals will be returned from that initial 100. And a nice little scout in there. He actually sees the Baneling Nest, and he will back up from there. Probably put down his own momentarily, and we will see it equal. No, he has a Roach Horn, excuse me.
This build is really, it's a little bit weird because, as you already mentioned, the Banelings should accomplish what the Spine Crawler does right now, giving him a little bit of defense. He was using most of his lava for drones, to be fair, so now he's roughly at the same amount of drones as NASTL, even though he built that earlier pool, but still, it's a little bit odd. You're perfectly right about that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Baneling Nest is just to actually freak out his opponent. It's there for defensive purpose. I mean, think, it's only 50 gas. I guess he's saying to himself that it's roughly like, what is that, 15 seconds? Maybe 20 seconds, 25 seconds worth of mining. So why don't I go ahead, just mine that really quick, and it's always there in case my opponent is doing some sort of huge all-in. But he's going to get in here, see the roaches, and what is going to be his reaction? A Roach Warren goes down.
That's the only thing that he can do right now. He has to fight fire with fire, and that build is just a bit weird. He just snuck 2 links into, well, not really into the main base of NASTL, but he was at least able to scout the roaches. Before that, he had no idea exactly what, no idea at all what NASTL was doing, so he played it blind. And NASTL now adding also a Baneling Nest. And small attack attempt by Destiny, but nah, the roach is on place.
Yep, he
the
is
queen.
Get rid of that queen. Not going to be a big deal. That queen was a little bit expendable since it's the second one, but obviously we're going to have a huge all-in. Destiny needs to defend this very, very fast. Oh my god, I don't know if he actually has the means to actually defend this. 42 supply to 30 at this point. The counterattack did go on, but it really didn't do anything at all. Those Zerglings weren't able to actually threaten any form of counterattacks. He should have just waited a little bit until these units were in the middle of the field, and then did that.
And he's not getting any Baneling. Finally he's morphing 2 Banelings. I was already waiting the whole time when he would start to morph some Banelings, because Aristero already had Zerglings, but he's now morphing them into a lot of Banelings himself. He has so many units. This is a really, really hard push. Destiny will be in a lot of trouble, and his Banelings evaporate. Oh god.
Beautiful, beautiful Banelings. They're able to actually cancel out his opponent's Banelings and detonate on the Roaches. You can see the drones are actually being pulled offline, but it's not even going to matter. We're going to see GG in a little bit. These drones are completely useless at this point, and there are just way too many units for Aristeo.
Yeah, Destiny's loss streak in ZVZ actually holds. He will lose this game to Aristeo. There is no way he can turn the tables now. He is losing drones by the second and is down to 16 supply against 38. Aristeo with a well-executed build. And Destiny, I'm not sure what should make of this build, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, as you probably know already, but it's just the fact that I don't really think that Baneling Nest does anything. He gets it out so fast and then doesn't use it at all. It's just like a defensive tool, but there it is. GG comes out from Destiny. And, you know, I don't really see it just defend it. I mean, obviously, we just saw it right there. It doesn't defend against the Roach all-ins or whatever it might be. I mean, I think if he just slightly tweaked it, if it was a different map, then yes. And I understand that's just to defend against mass Zerglings. We've seen players like Cats just do pure speedlings, and that's it. And for that would work very appropriately, but I think it hard counters way too much, and it doesn't deal with, let's say, a super macro greedy player that just goes for the regular Zerglings, or someone that goes Roaches like this.
When I saw the early pool and then the Baneling Nest, I actually expected him to go for a really aggressive build and just try to go for some kind of all-in, so kind of a coin flip strategy. That Spinecrawler really threw me a bit off. And not only the Spinecrawler, he got so much gas. He got 300 gas. He needs 100 for the metabolic boost, and obviously he needs a little bit of gas so that he can get Banelings as well. But 200 additional gas, that's quite a lot. So I'm really not sure what he was trying to do.
Yeah, again, I think it was just like on retainer. If ever he's going up against speed Zerglings, boom, I can hit those Banelings. If not, I'll just save the money and continue macroing, get that hatchery up, get everything up accordingly. But as you said, I think it was just misplayed a little bit, and a really peculiar type of opening. I'm sure he has it well thought out, because players like Cats always have these like complex ways of actually dealing with things. But at just like in a glance at this particular game, obviously it didn't work out. And I think it was just a really, really weird opening.
I think maybe something just went wrong. Maybe he just made a mistake, forgot off to pull drones, something along those lines, or scouted something that changes strategy. But you're right. In this particular game, it didn't actually accomplish anything. Usually, you mentioned it, players like him and Cats think their strategies out quite well. But this time, Aristeo just proved to be the better player, I guess.
Yep, so that's going to do it. 2-0 for Team Empire. Aristeo is going to take this in a very quick ZVZ. We're going to actually move on to the third game in a little bit, so everybody stay tuned. More Empire versus Quantic action coming your way.